They're like, it's just faith. I'm like, it's still disgusting.
Yeah, no, we call those douche glutes. So guys, welcome back. This is another episode of Here's the Stories. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we've got my friend Laura. Laura, tell everybody hello.
Hello.
So Laura's a friend of mine from my gym. She's also married to one of the most handsome guys in Scottsdale. We're all very jealous of him. Hey, Jason.
ELJ.
Yeah, ELJ. But I wanted to have her on the show today to talk about rentals. I know she's been involved in it and kind of see what happens when you get involved in the business. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
So I guess start off, you're not in real estate full time, right? You have a job, right? Like a normal person.
Yep.
Which is good.
No corporate America.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how did you get involved in rentals?
So
where did all that start?
What was the year that the market was just completely in the tank? Has that been 5-6 years? No, it's been longer than that now.
No, longer than that. So the bottom of the market here was, I think, 09 or 10. Right?
Okay.
Just when things went to shit.
Yeah, it would have been about that time. So I had, when I originally moved here, didn't know a single person, lived up in North Scottsdale, came to Old Town, eventually decided, wanted to buy a house. So did so when the market was way up. And that
when was this?
Oh my gosh, that's been about 13 years ago.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
That was 05?
It was a really bad idea. Yeah. Luckily, we had bought a condo in Old Town. I kind of bought it with my parents.
Okay.
And they were helping me out. I was not to the point that I had enough money to do it myself.
Sure.
So we were able to turn around and sell that condo for twice what we bought it for.
Oh my God.
So that literally, it was like 130 to 260.
Holy
shit. So
this was the bubble.
So this was the bubble. So we kind of took advantage of that to help pay for the house.
Sure.
So we did that, and then however much later, my parents were out to visit, and the house across the street was for sale, and my dad's like, oh, a couple of houses for sale in the neighborhood. I was like, don't even talk to me about it. And he's like, why? What? And the house across it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I'm 3-bedroom.
Okay.
I'm 3-2.
This is across from where you live now, right?
Literally, like across the street and one over.
Oh,
so right there, for sale sign. And he's like, well, why? Like, how bad is it? And I was like, really don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I bought mine for over 300. That was going for 120.
Oh.
Yeah. And I literally, so while I am like choking on my food, I can see the light bulbs going off in his mind, because he's like, I'm sorry, what? So that is what started what became multiple properties.
Wow.
And so essentially the deal was that, they had a lot of cash that they could pay cash for these things. So the deal was that I found them, I did everything, they bought them, and then afterwards I did everything. So I manage all the properties from A to Z, and kind of that will work out for me, in the end, because that's going to be their retirement and then someday mine.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how this all works out for the both of us.
Okay.
So yeah, we started with, we didn't want that house specifically, but basically went back to my realtor and we're like, hey, let's start the search.
Buy some stuff.
And stuff kept coming up, so we got.
That time, you could hit a rock and you could throw a rock and find a deal.
Yep. So we bought one of the other houses in one of the 3-2 houses in my neighborhood. One of the condos. When you first come into the neighborhood, there's actually trails, has condos, and then they have houses.
They're off to the south, right? Yep.
So got a condo in there. So those were kind of the first two we started with, and I was very particular that they needed to be close and convenient for me to manage them. I was like, I'm not going to Glendale to service anything.
Oh, hell no.
So my mom ended up finding one in Mesa, and I was like, ooh, Mesa, that seems far, but it was on the corner of Mesa where it's like 10 minutes away. I was like, fine, let's take a look at it. It was a newer home.
Really?
And
Mesa's got some nice areas.
Yeah, it's kind of that in between, but it's right next to a school, so it's not too bad. So we ended up with a house in Mesa, and then every time we were like, we're done, right?
Yeah.
And then something else would come up on Third Street. So another condo came up that's just off Roosevelt, so not far from me at all. Roosevelt and Hayden. So then we got that condo, and so then we were good. So we've got the 4 properties, everything's good.
Yeah.
And then about 2 years ago, the house at the end of my street goes for sale. And I have no idea why I looked it up because, you know, home codes sell all the time. Not a lot go in my neighborhood, but
no, it seems like a low
turnover area. It is, which is a good thing. Sure. But I happened to look at it, and I look at the price, and I'm like, that seems pretty good. Well, it ends up that the guy's going through a really ugly divorce, so lucky me. So it hadn't even hit the market yet.
No kidding.
So, because I had my realtor look into it, and she's like, it's not listed. So we call the realtor, talk to him, and essentially make an offer with the intention of making that an Airbnb.
Okay.
So
that's what got you started.
That's what switched things up. That's what switched things up. So we've got the 4 regular properties and then now the Airbnb for 5 total.
Wow.
So that's how this whole party started.
I like it. And now you've got the property hustle in Scottsdale.
I do. I've got quite a lot, and I do nothing, and then I do everything. Because, you know, everything.
That's what we joke about, right?
It all happens at once.
Periods of boredom and then moments of terror.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, we had an AC out a couple of weeks ago, and then something while I'm trying to remodel another house. I'm like, just one at a time, please.
So you've got the 4 properties, and they're just regular rentals, right?
Regular rental.
Year lease.
Yep, year lease, exactly.
And then the 1 Airbnb.
Yep.
So and how long are you going to do in the Airbnb?
It'll be, we technically bought it in November, or I think it was ready, I should know, the year before.
Okay.
So by the time I had it done, because I was obviously the bigger project there, is got to furnish the whole thing and get it all the little, you know, every spoon and fork and all that stuff. So I think it was ready in November.
Okay.
So this November will be 2 years. So, you know, a year and a half or so.
Gotcha. So looking back on that, I mean, do you prefer the regular rentals or the Airbnb just for day to day?
Oh, I mean, day to day, obviously, regular rental is so much better, but from a financial standpoint,
the Airbnb is
killing it. Yeah, it is. Awesome. I mean, even so, you know, I'm a little OCD, spreadsheet, everything else, so I'm calculating the ROI on it and going through, and even earlier this year, right? Obviously, spring is the craziness. Yeah. So we were doing same day turnover all through March. We had which is a complete nightmare.
Really?
I mean, because you have to. Essentially, I just bought extra sheets because there was no way.
Yeah, so you're running a hotel, right?
You are literally like dishes. People checking out at 11, people checking in at 3.
Do you have help?
So I have a cleaning crew that goes in there, but so you know, on the rules of it, put the dishes in the dishwasher before you leave, so at least hopefully it's done.
And then follow that?
For the most part, yeah. Okay. And then, but you know, things like comforters and stuff you have to wash. So yeah, I'm literally towels, stuff like that. I am over there right the second they check out.
Wow.
3 loads of laundry, whatever it is, and it's
going.
Back in there by 3 o'clock. So those are not ideal, but really that's only like March, April-ish.
So that's really the spring.
It's a pretty short period of time. But yeah, I mean, even in that, my dad's like, oh, I don't know if this is worth it. You know, we're kind of running the numbers. And I was like, Dad, you've netted $20,000 this year. And he's like, okay, well, this seems good. Well, carry on.
Wow,
so,
that's serious. Huh. So they're more work, obviously, because I tried the Airbnb thing here for a while, just condos.
Right.
What killed me, and I don't know if you've had this, was the off-season, right? So you can rent winter here, you can have the nastiest place in Scottsdale, and you can still rent it for condo, right? But the summers, you know, I wound up having to drop the rent, the electric bills are super high, doing everything.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten lucky both summers. Last summer we had a couple that was remodeling their home, and remodels always take longer than expected.
Yes.
So, you know, they needed it for June, and then they needed it for July, and then they needed it for a little bit of August. So we got really lucky there.
Oh, that's awesome.
This summer we actually have a lady that just went through an ugly divorce and isn't in a place that she wants to buy yet.
Sure.
So, you know, I'm negotiating with her, just to give you an idea on dollars. Like, I negotiated down to $2,400 a month for her.
Yeah, which is not bad for a furnished home in that area.
Right. It's a great deal for her, but in my mind, it would have been empty any other way. So if you figure that, $250 on AC, you know, if you add up all the bills, you're maybe at $500 for all the bills. So still $1,900 for 3 months, just June, July, and August, which are the months that are usually empty.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works out. You know, there's an extra, you know, $5,000,
Yeah.
over $5,000, $5,500.
The
That
Hotel Scottsdale, making it happen. Well,
yeah. So it's good. It's good.
good stuff. And then the other properties are just the regular rentals.
Regular
And
rent.
they give you any problems or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just that, like, for example, I had AC went out in the Mesa property, and I mean,
How much
the
that run you?
lady was, well, so I've kept a home warranty on every single property for the life of it. I will never get rid of a home warranty.
Sure.
And there are years that I lose in that, you know,
Yeah.
it's $500 or so for a home warranty. But
AC $6,000-$7,000.
yeah, but for the most part, if you even it out year over year, you know, there's always something small. So even if you had a plumber come out, fix the issue, you know, I just
Sure.
pay that $60 fee,
It's
and
just
almost
a $60 deductible, and that's it.
that's it each time.
Wow.
The only other time there are extra fees, which there were on the AC, is right now because of Arizona laws, like having to haul coolant away. They now have different ways. So there's little one-off things that you'll run into in that situation. But honestly, it's not.
Really?
It's pretty nominal stuff. And the hot water heater went out at that place and had to be replaced already.
Yeah,
So right there, you know, you've got your money back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that overall, it's just the tenants. I mean, this tenant literally was losing her marbles that the AC was out. You know, it's 100 degrees in my house. Well, yes, that's what happens when the AC goes out.
Yeah, people get pissed about that, which I get.
Yeah, and they had to order a new compressor. Well,
Okay.
it's not going to be here tomorrow. It's going to take a couple days. I mean, this was a Monday through Friday. They went out on Monday. The new AC was ready to go Friday morning, and you would have thought that she was without AC for a month and a half. Like,
Yeah.
and she has a special needs child who is an adult. He's fine, but she refused. I tried to put him up on a hotel, which my home warranty also covers, which is nice.
Wow.
I know.
I think I've actually heard that that's law, that if you don't
Yes.
have cooling in a
If
place
it's
in AC,
over 100 degrees in Arizona, so
you have to put them up.
so they have to put them up. They're very generous. It's $69 a night. I'm
Okay.
like, I'm not
Yeah.
sure where you're staying here.
Get any shady Motel 6 south of 202.
But yeah. So luckily she's in Mesa, so we actually could find.
Perfect.
So
in the summertime. So
yeah,
you can make it
and in the summer, yeah, the rates are really low.
Yeah.
But she decided her son was not okay with staying in a hotel.
So they just stay in the house?
I was like, well, okay, well, I don't know that it's safe for you to stay in the house, but I don't. And so, I mean, every day, just, you know, nasty text, just losing
the
every day.
nasty
Not over the phone, of course, because it's completely passive aggressive.
Yeah, no, the text, for
Just
sure.
a nasty text.
Oh, I get tons of that. They're hilarious.
And I'm like, I genuinely don't know what you want me to do here. Like, I cannot create a compressor. I cannot.
Yeah, not.
I've given you a very good option B that you choose not to take. So she went and bought a portable AC unit, and they're all like sleeping in one room.
Okay.
And ironically, she also has family here. She decided that her dog didn't like their dog. I don't know. People are very weird. People are very funny. I'm like, I feel like you have a lot of options here, and you're choosing none of them. Just, I think, with tenants, and like they think that because they're renting, like everything should be resolved instantaneously.
Sure.
And I'm like, you understand that if this happened in my house, I'd be in the exact same situation.
Yeah.
There would be
But people don't realize that.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you're a landlord. You have a magic wand, and you can just make things go poof. You're going to call poof the magic dragon, and then there's new AC.
Right.
And that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, tenants, I've got one right now actually on some property that I manage. He's down to commercial property in the side, and he had a couple of bad months. And he calls up, I get an email from the accountant and said, hey, this guy's down about $15,000 in rent, you know, and why the notification hadn't gone out, he conveniently left out of the email.
Yeah.
And I call up the tenant, you know, WTF.
Hello.
I said, well, you know, I don't have any money, bad, So I call our attorney and get a file pulled on him. And he's riding around in a 2017 Mercedes GL, right, that he just bought.
Just bought,
yeah,
too.
I mean, he registered it maybe 3 months ago during the
dear
bad
God.
time. So, you know, we had to have that conversation where it's like, hey, buddy, you know, we're about to have to write a $30,000 property tax check,
Right.
and this rent that you're not paying, like we can come talk about that new Benz.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it is funny how they do. They're just, you have to resolve this.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You know, and
So.
they forget sometimes that we're just human.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, tenants. So I know you've got some other funny tenant stories. I've heard a few of them.
Yeah, you're gonna dig and try to get me in trouble
Maybe
here.
I would never get you in trouble at all.
So the moral of this story is to, you know, it's harder to rent to friends.
Oh, for sure.
So
I'm guilty, done it. You know, I've had some. Most have been great, but yes, occasionally.
Yeah. So I think it's just, you know, it's great because obviously you want to give them a good deal and have a place, and you know, I mean, these are good friends, so you know they'll take care and they'll pay the rent on time and everything else. So yeah, I had the house that's in my neighborhood just south of me.
Yeah. This one turned into Dr. Doolittle's palace, right?
It did. It did. Yeah. Which is why I'm not allowing dogs in there anymore, which I did hear recently. Actually, they passed some kind of law in Scottsdale that you cannot, like it's a discrimination thing, that you cannot not say on the application that you do not allow pets.
Get out.
That's the realtor for the house.
I'm so glad I sold all my residential stuff.
Yeah, the house down the street from me that just sold, that was the one that was gutted because the guy was a hoarder.
Oh yeah.
His daughter's a real estate agent, and she and I kind of became friends through this whole thing, and we were talking about the animals because, I mean, they gutted this house, literally drywall. Like, that's how bad this guy was.
Wow.
They had those, I don't even know what those things are, the hauling, like the full size, not the little dumpster. I'm talking like the huge one. They had
containers.
3 of those. And I'm talking beer cans and pizza boxes.
Get out.
Coming out of this place.
Oh.
The guy he hadn't let anyone in his home in years, so they didn't even know. When the kids tried to come visit, because one lives in Oregon and the other one's his stepdaughter, he would just be like, you know, you guys don't need to come in. They had no idea. Somewhere. They had no idea how bad it was. He hadn't opened his mail since 2012. So, and he didn't have a will.
Oh.
Total side story, but good Lord, I mean, these poor people had to deal with so much. But obviously, this was not a quick process on there, so she and I kind of became friends through all this because she was there so often.
So you wound up buying that place?
No, that one is just completely gutted.
So it's empty.
It's gorgeous. No, so it's sold like right away.
Oh, bad.
But I mean, they literally had to go down to the drywall. Everything
strip out the floors. Oh, this hoarder
everything.
Nasty.
Everything.
Oh.
So that's just talking to her. She's like, we were talking, you know, rentals and everything else. She's like, well, do you know about the new law? Because I was telling her, I was like, well, we're having some issues with some dogs. And she's like, well, I said, so I'm planning on kind of gutting the place, because that's how we got into the conversation about gutting. And she's like, oh, well, you know that you can't do that now. I was like, sorry, what?
When did this happen?
I don't know. So I haven't had a chance to really look into it much because we're in the process of remodeling. But yeah, so essentially we had, you know, some really good friends, great people. Let's all note this before I get myself in trouble here. Had 2 dogs, so 2 of the 10. There were 3 of them living there initially.
3 people or 3 dogs?
3 people. 3 people initially. Added a 4th person. This is a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're young. People that are young, they don't care. It's like, you want to sleep on the couch, you want all split rent, like it's fine. So you have, you know, you put as many people as possible in the house and save some money. Like, totally get it. So one of them had a dog, the other one had a dog. One of the dogs shed like nothing I've ever seen in my entire life. But again, all cleanable, no big deal.
Sure.
Also learned that maybe sometimes dogs are not the best at going outside. And my assumption when I'm renting, I always ask you the age of the dog. That's one of the first things I ask, because if you have a 6-month-old dog, you know, I'm going to assume that they probably have some accidents.
Yeah, we just adopted one at my house, and there's a rug slated for destruction as soon as she hits a year. Like, it's going in the trash.
Yeah, right. They find that spot, and they just it's never going to stop once they've gone there. I mean,
it's targeted for demolition.
I had cat that was the same way, but you know, you can't get that out. No. They know that smell. You're never going to get out. Over the a 3rd dog that they
up to 4 dogs, 3 people.
3 dogs, 4 people.
3 dogs, 4 people.
And they adopted this. This was another person at our gym, and that you know that she went off in the military. So obviously couldn't take her dog with her. So I think it started as a hey, do you want to watch the dog? And became, you want my dog? Just because I mean, in her situation, I just don't think you can really have it. So we're at a certain point here, and I mean, the house smells like dog. It is what it is.
Sure.
And they'd asked.
One question.
Yeah.
So when you decided to rent, because I mean, I've done this too. Like I've had properties where things were just kind of on their last leg.
Yeah.
Right. I had one tenant who had like a snake in an aquarium, right, and they have a stink to them as well. But it was in a condo. Like the condo was older, the floors needed to be done, the carpet. Yeah,
and that's what. So the floors, like the tile was all fine in there. The carpet was just worn down, and it was kind of one of those like, hey, I probably need to do this within the next couple years. Yeah. And then it was when they decided to rent, I was like, and that's going to wait.
Yeah.
So
you just plan on doing it.
Right. You just plan on doing it. And I hadn't really planned on doing much else in upgrades. I was just going to possibly redo carpet and call it a day.
Sure.
So at one point they had requested like, hey, can we redo the carpet in the living room? And I was like, sure, for any reason. And obviously the dogs had caused this, and I was like, okay,
Dog exhaust.
Right. Yeah. So that had happened. I was like, okay, no big deal. Well, they pulled up the carpet, but they never put new carpet down.
This is a rug, right? This is the actual carpet.
This is the full living room, pulled up.
Pulled it out.
Packs, everything.
No kidding.
And yeah.
You have to pay for demo. That's amazing. This is great rent.
And yeah, and so they just left it like that. So it's just
polished concrete.
Concrete. No, this is not pretty. This is not pretty concrete. So yeah, I think the funniest part of it all is that they just lived with a concrete living room for.
They didn't go bother to get a rug from IKEA or really just like the penitentiary floor, left it alone.
Just left it alone.
I love it. Well, that's how you know they're gym people too.
Yeah.
Like we're comfortable with
they just didn't care.
Floors.
They just didn't care. So yeah, I think, for me it's always the like how you go about things and then how you communicate them. So, they were at the end of this and they're like, so tell me about our deposit. And I'm like, so I was like, let me just do the math. So I just go to Lowe's at the time, and then I call my carpet people that I had do it before, and I'm like, it's this many square feet, how much would it be? And the estimate is more than their deposit.
Sure.
So then you're, that's the hard thing with friends, because then you're in this kind of crappy situation where you're like, I don't want to not give you guys back the deposit. Of
course.
Because, they were good tenants.
Yeah.
But
minus the
right. Yeah. And, there were.
Also, things cost money, right?
Yeah.
Like I learned that, I did some stupid stuff in rental houses when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen, there's another episode of this show where a couple of our other gym friends were talking about, things they did in rental houses in college.
Oh.
Just unspeakable.
I can't imagine ever renting, especially the guys in college. Like, you're an idiot to ever have a rental property, a college property.
There were 5 guys in the house. They had a pet raccoon. True story.
I'm not sure that's allowed.
It was, referred to it as a raccoon. There was a pet raccoon and a pet snake living in the same house. Yeah. So I totally get it.
Yeah. So
it costs money to fix.
Right, and there were other things. The spare bathroom drawers were broken out. Like there were just like little things that needed to be replaced. And about that time, my wheels started turning because I'd seen a house that had been for sale. And then all of a sudden it was off the market. And I was like, oh, that sold fast. And it was completely redone. But I could tell it was more of a flip redone, not super impressive, high quality stuff. And then all of a sudden it popped back for like $2,200. And I was like, okay. And then
what were you renting for before?
$1,450.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Bing.
Right. And so I was like, the carpet's already up. This is trash. I'm like going through all the things that.
That's a pretty healthy rental.
It is. Yeah. So, I go back to, I have my regular realtor and then I have my rental realtor. And my rental guy, he finds the tenants for me.
Sure.
Puts them in, does all the legal paperwork, does all that stuff. It is great. He gets the first month, we call it a day.
Yeah, love it.
And so I was like, can you run rental comps in my neighborhood? And he did, and they're $2,000 to $2,100. I'm like, okay, I think that I like this a lot.
Yeah.
So, I start talking to comps.
Over the course of the year, that adds up, right? You're talking 550 times 12, like that's an extra $7 or $8 grand a year.
Right. Yeah, no, when I did the math on what it's going to cost us to redo everything, I'll get it back in 4 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's good stuff.
So I just started talking to contractors, had them coming out, doing bids, found a guy that had just finished one of my friend's houses, was just in the process of finishing up, and she had been really happy with them. And I was like, okay, like, you know, give me the breakdown price, like you can do this and this, or give me the all-in price if I just do it all. And he gave me the all-in price, and I was like, you know, I'm doing the math, and if I can get, you know, that whatever,
here,
yeah, and so we did it. So yeah,
and that's going on right now.
That is going on. Yeah, that's always fun. So yeah, I went.
Did you kind of get finished on time?
Oh yeah, it was finished on time, June 4th. Yep. Yeah, we're only. Yeah, we're about there. Yeah, he doesn't seem to understand the concept that I lose rent every month that he is a retard, but it's fine. Yeah. It's getting done. It was a very good price.
Yeah.
He does good work. Yeah. We're just going to go with it.
Yeah, you kind of get what you pay for. And I'm convinced no project since the Great Pyramids of Egypt has gone off on time or on budget.
No.
Right?
No.
You, my cousin back east is construction superintendent. Like, they build hospitals.
Yeah, that's what my dad, that's what my brother does too. Yeah. My dad's an architect, and my brother's construction.
Like the stupid shit that delays stuff. Well, you know, the truck lost the lug nut and then it bounced off and hit a kitten, and that's why the carpet is still in Oklahoma. Yeah. And we can't install. And then that guy, oh, by the way, he's drunk.
Yeah. He literally had to book a carpet for me there, and I go last week. And this is right before we're leaving for Wisconsin, so I'm going to be gone for 5 days. And he's like, did you pick out the carpet? And I sent him a picture, sent it to him, great. Hopefully you're working on this while I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm back the next week, and he's like, hey, the carpet you chose is out of budget. And I was like, why the F did you put it in my options? Like, you literally gave me a book with like 9 samples. Yeah. It wasn't like this.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I got to go back by there this afternoon on my way home, different carpet, and find the one that'll work. So
what a mess. And so this will be all, this reno, you're just going to do a nicer rental, right? You're not going to sell it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we could, that was part of the conversation, because we bought it literally when the market was complete crap. I wish I remember what I bought it for, but because I'm trying to remember like which property was which, but I would say that we would close to doubling our money on this one.
Yeah. I mean, that happened to me recently on this condo. Yeah. The pricing just, I sold those and paid off another property just to not have the mortgage anymore.
Right.
Just, you know, someone literally came in under 2 weeks, cash for all 3 of them at my asking price.
Right. Yep. So that's what, you know, I think because the long-term goal here is this is literally my parents' retirement and then ours. Like, this is going to be, if I'm bringing in $5,000 a month in rent. Yeah. It'll be more, should be more than that between all of them. But
less any carpet incidents.
Yeah. So the ideal is I'm bringing in that much per month that will go towards retirement for them, and then so that's why we thought selling, but we're like, if I can pay this basically 4 years, get my return on this upgrade,
and you could probably get 20 or 25 years out of that renovation. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
When I did the building, and I've done some other renovations, like that's my goal is let's make the reno money back in 3 to 4 years, and then we have something that we can try to get 20 or 25 years of service life out of the floors and the walls and everything.
Yeah, and I purposely did, you know, a little darker floor than I would, you know, like things that.
You didn't go with polished concrete?
Camouflage, I did not. It was tempting. I had flashbacks. Decided not to.
Good, a little patching to do.
Yeah.
Good. So takeaways are Airbnbs are a lot of work, and careful around the friends, right?
A lot of work, but worth the money usually, as long as you're doing it right. I think on Airbnb too, don't be afraid to drop the rate, because again, you know, I had to drop it way down for the summer, but still,
some money.
I'm bringing $1,900 a month that wouldn't have. I mean, even in a rental property, a lot of rental properties, I wouldn't have been getting that.
You have to cover the bills, right? You still have taxes, and you've got electric and all that other stuff. So.
Yep. So yeah, I would say that it's good overall. It's worth it.
Yeah.
And when it rains, it pours, but then, you know, 80% of the time it doesn't. You know, it's sunny, so So it's
no,
good.
that's really nice. The months that roll by when nothing happens.
Yep.
But, oh, thank God.
Yep.
So,
Yep. So that's why I think it's worth it.
And then you got Jason. You can order around and make him fix stuff, right?
Sure. Sure. Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming out.
Of course.
You know, we didn't dig too hard in
We
anything.
didn't give me in too much trouble.
Nah, you'll be good. So, but anyway, guys, thank you again. This is Laura. Don't be scared to get into Airbnbs. Apparently, they're a lot of work. So, thank you for watching again, and we'll see you on the next one. So, hey, Lala, you look great.